Hey, Jeremy Crow here. This week I wanted to go over the topic of selling your soul. How to sell your soul. This is a question that I get fairly often. People say, I'd like to sell my soul. How do I go about selling my soul for fame or riches or both? Or power, these, they're not really even very well defined goals to begin with, for one thing. But these people believe that if they sell their soul to Satan or Lucifer, that they will be granted all kinds of material wealth and success and esteem, knowledge even, that's the infamous Faust, right? Where he sold his soul to Mephistopheles for, untold wisdom and knowledge and magic powers, essentially. And I think, there's a flaw in this. First off, what is the soul? Well, let's just say a lot of people will think of the soul as this, they just have this vague idea and they think of their soul as like a ghost version of themselves that's inhabiting the physical body. And that when they die, they are that ghost or something like that. I don't know. That's what people think of when they think of soul. And to sell your soul to Satan means essentially that when you die, your soul gets dragged to hell, and you have to suffer in hell for eternity. But while you're alive, you get to live the good life, I guess. This is the horror movie, classic horror tale kind of version of this. It's very childish. It's very infantile, juvenile kind of way of looking at things. But let's just say, what is the soul actually? Well, you've got the body, and you've got the spirit, which some could say is the undifferentiated spark of life that animates all living things, you could say. And it's transpersonal. It's just the same for everyone. Basically, everything that's alive shares this thread of life. And the soul is what makes it you. It is the thing that sets you apart from everyone else who's ever lived or ever will live. This is the uniqueness of you, is the soul. So, does Satan even want your soul? No. Satan doesn't want you to sell your soul. If there was a Satan, from my understanding, Satan wouldn't want your soul to begin with. Satan doesn't want you to sell your soul or give up the part of yourself that is unique. I can think of another character, another religious figure that does want you to give up that. Wants you to surrender yourself, the entirety of yourself up to that thing, and just surrender your entire life and become an instrument of their will. God, the Christian, the Judeo-Christian, Islamic, God of Abraham, Isaac, and all that jazz. That God wants you to sell your soul to give up that uniqueness. Satan wants you to emphasize that uniqueness. I'm talking metaphorically here, but if you're theistic, you could take it literally if you want. I kind of ride the line between theism and atheism there, in terms of that, if you're wondering. But yeah, Satan wants you to emphasize, to exalt your soul, to make your soul strong, and for you to increase the level of integrity, personal integrity, so that your actions are congruent with your core values, with the very thing that makes you you. You know, you make that your center, and everything else radiates from that. Every action, every thought, every deed is inspired by that core, that center, the soul. The soul is the new God, in the left-hand path. The soul is the thing that must be exalted above all, and never submit to anything external. It must remain the pinnacle, the God, the of the self is you, is what makes you unique, and that's what integrity means. Is to live with integrity, is to live congruent with your core values. Now, we have to be careful about defining what our core values too early in our career as occultists, because I find that a lot of our core values, or what we feel very strongly about when we're very young, are often the ideals of whatever society you grew up in, as what a good person is supposed to be, or what successful or an admirable person is supposed to be, and you kind of take that on as a quest to achieve something. But that's an external goal that's been set, an external goalpost that someone else has set for you, society has set for you. That is essentially the right-hand path, is to follow the institutions and the conventions of the society that you were raised in. You need to explore yourself enough to realize what is a true value, a true core value of the self, and what was just simply programmed into you. And that just takes life experience, really. So as you go through life, learn skills, learn to apply discipline and consistency in your life. Learn to observe yourself as you're doing things. Learn to step back when you are feeling that you've lost control of yourself, and you say you're in a rage, or you are weeping uncontrollably, or any of these moments where you feel completely overwhelmed, and act upon that feeling of being overwhelmed. Try, in the back of your mind somewhere at least, to observe yourself doing these things, and to try and be like, oh, why am I being like this, And don't scold yourself. Observe yourself dispassionately. So be that little watcher in the back of your mind, watching Jeremy. Like, for example, if it was me, that thing watches Jeremy go off and be overwhelmed, and watch what he's doing, and that actually can help you put a bit of distance between yourself and these feelings that are arising within you, that are triggered within you, and allows you a little bit of space, tiny little bit of space, to act consciously. And as you get more experience doing this, you can increase that little window of opportunity for conscious action. So where am I going with this? Once you realize what your core values are, that's you being in touch with your soul. You place that as the core, and then seek to increase the amount of integrity in your life by having everything else fall in line with that, to become congruent with those core values of the self. And now, how do you sell your soul? If you were to try and sell your soul, well, first you'd have to find a buyer, right? You'd have to find somebody who wants you to subvert these core values that you have determined, and to subvert them in such a way that they'll reward you for it. I can think of examples in terms of working for a company that you disagree with, or doing a job that you are completely feeling soulless about, or things like that. Or perhaps being a musician, right, who has signed a contract that will give them a lot of money and fame and all the promotion that they need and all the tools that they need to be successful, but you lose all of the creative power. They control, they change your songs, things like that, and you just allow it to happen, right? You just be like, well, I'm getting paid, so whatever, right? That, in a sense, is selling your soul. And as I mentioned, Satan doesn't want you to sell your soul. God does. There are entities out there, fictional, legendary, mythological, as well as very real individuals who will allow you to sell your soul if you have the right skills, if you have the right look, perhaps, if you have something that they can profit from if they subvert you, and you accept, then that's you selling your soul for riches, essentially. And that's how it works. So if you ever wondered how to sell your soul, make yourself valuable to somebody who will be willing to pay you to sell out, or to subvert your values and to go against your core values. So that's how you sell your soul. Don't go to Satan. He doesn't want your soul. For one thing, that's the other thing too. When I hear people say they want to sell their soul for riches and massive success and things like that, I always wonder, why do you think your soul is worth that? What about your soul is so special that you would think that an entity would be willing to pay you with riches and fame and such in exchange for your soul? So if you want to sell your soul, make it valuable first. Make it something that somebody is gonna want. And then go ahead and do it, I guess. But that, you're not gonna be happy. You'll end up with the markers of success that you've determined means that you're successful, but then you're not going to be enjoying it, because you're not being true to yourself. You are going against the trueness of yourself, and making yourself not special, really, for these trinkets, really, these temporal markers of success that you've decided means that you're successful. So I think I've gone on enough of a rant on this topic. I find it amusing and also kind of annoying, but that's how it goes. A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about this stuff, and hopefully this will help dispel some of the myths, about what it means to sell your soul, and whether that's even desirable or not. So I I'd like to hear your thoughts on the matter. So if you have any ideas or comments that you want to share on the topic, then leave a comment, and I'll try and respond to everything that you guys write, unless it's something stupid. Some comments just don't deserve a response. That's how it goes on the internet these days. But if you have a sincere comment, and I will genuinely respond to it. Thanks. See you next week.